All right, so welcome everyone. Here we are with Ed for our interview. One of the most mentioned reasons why many people even begin to think about trading is to achieve freedom and financial independence. And based on their perceived image of other traders that they get from social media, they create an expectation for themselves that, this should be pretty an easy ride, right? And unfortunately, only to end up in a failing cycle. And it is not the money-making part that is tough, but it is keeping the profits that proves really difficult and the biggest challenge of all. And soon after they start trading, the dream of becoming a trader for a living turns into a quest for consistency. And for some traders, it takes years to get out of it. For some, it never ends. Hey guys, today I'm going to talk to Ed, who has been a Forex trader for 4 years now, and he just finished the Confident Trader program. And today he is going to share his transformative journey with you and talk about how he went from failing to trade with consistent profit to finally reaching his goals and beyond. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Agnieszka Wood, and I am the founder of Ahead Coach and my signature mindset transformation coaching program, The Confident Trader. I help traders who are struggling to follow their trading plan, keep breaking the rules, and let emotions make the trading decisions. They just simply struggle and cannot get out of the failing cycle. I help them to stop losing their gains and build consistency so they can become profitable and create the life they desire. So Ed, thank you so much for being here today with us and doing this interview. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure that everyone who is watching us right now does too. It is always so inspiring and absolutely motivating to hear from other traders who manage to overcome the issues that so many struggle with for years.
Yes, thank you. It's great to be here. I'm excited. Can't wait to share some of my info here.
Awesome. So would you like to give us a little bit of an introduction about yourself, how your trading journey started? Like when and why did you decide to trade? And was it your intention to trade for a living just right from the start?
Yeah, sure. So I was always been enamored by trading from as long as I can remember. I always thought that the stock market was cool, and the money movies were always appealing to me, growing up. So when I lived life and had normal 9-to-5 jobs and doing other things, an opportunity just came about where, hey, do you want to learn about trading? And it brought back some of those old memories. That was about 4 years ago, and it's been, oh my gosh, highs and lows, all the entire time for sure. But even 2 years ago, when I think back of where I was trading, I had no clue even then what I was doing, although I thought I did, and had so many crashes and burns. To still want to be in it is just that inner drive, passion that I know is there. So it's just like that constant quest to keep on going.
Yeah, sounds like a very familiar story to me as well at the beginning. Ups and downs and hitting that wall over and over again. So what was your biggest challenge at that time to actually, when you were struggling, what was your biggest challenge? And can you tell us about it?
Yeah, well, the result would, of course, be not being profitable. And sometimes it was not being profitable by a mistake or just because things happen, but no matter what the result was, my emotions were way out of whack. No matter what was going on, I was either super high or super low. I was a pro trader. Oh my god, I gotta quit. Nothing really stable or in between, and a lot of inconsistency. Great one day and terrible the next.
Was there anything that you were doing to trying to change it? Like what was your thinking at that time? Like you knew, okay, I have to do something. What were the solutions you came up with?
Well, let's see. Probably first off, spending a lot of money. I I've a lot of money that I've put into accounts that I traded. I bought software for, thousands of dollars, and the solution type of things like, hey, if you follow this, then that will happen. So I was kind of just following along a lot of whatever I was finding, and taking a lot of faith and learning as I go. And always trying to, I think that the problem was always trying to find something better, as opposed to just really settling in and understanding what the whole art of trading is all about.
That is so interesting, because we are, that quest for consistency, and it's like, if you look what consistency is, right? It is consistently repeating the same thing. But in that case, the first thing everyone is trying to do is just to change things immediately, like grab and look for different things, instead of actually focusing on, okay, this is what I should be doing, so let me just try it out for longer time. So that didn't help, right? All the solutions that you're trying seem not to help. When did you decide I have to do something else? Like, did anything specific happen, or how did you start to look for different solution?
I think over the years, knowing that I could read a chart, and I understand a lot more about trading and the fundamentals of trading and technical analysis and all of that stuff, I would still be, what I would say, improving my skills as a trader, but yielding the same or worse results than I ever have before. So I think I'm becoming better, but my results are the same as they always were, or even worse. And that just told me that it's got to be inside. It's in my head that's creating these issues. It's not that I can't read a chart. It's not that I don't know certain things that you might need to know. It would be because I wasn't in control of my own emotions while I was trading, and I was allowing myself to always get that consistent result. Even though I didn't want to, I was always putting myself right back to where I always was, no matter how well I was right before it happened. And it seemed like the better I got, the worse the slam was, the harder I fell. I knew I've worked a lot with personal development in the past, and am into emotional intelligence and things like that. So I knew that it was in my head that was stopping me from achieving what I wanted to do. So that's when I stopped looking for another live Zoom trading session with some guy that you want to try to follow his moves or anything like that. It was no, I need to take care of myself, and that's what's going to propel me to the next level. I just knew it. I just felt it, and I knew it.
That's awesome. And when you heard about my coaching program, The Confident Trader, what were your expectations? Like, what did you want to get out of it, and did you accomplish it? I remember that when we met first, you had a very different goal, and it kind of evolved.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. When we first met, I was very, very results oriented still. Like, everything was based on making a certain amount of money on a monthly basis. And it had to be that, or it wasn't going to work. I was very focused on dollars, like a dollar sign with a number behind it or next to it. That's all I cared about at the end of the day. And my emotions rode with that. So
when we met and I told you about the program, what did you expect at that time?
I was expecting for you to make me a millionaire after a month worth of coaching, and I would be a millionaire trader. And that didn't happen. So I don't know.
Yeah. Even though I didn't promise you that to happen, you still decided to go for it.
Yeah. I was very open-minded to what the program was going to be. I went into it committed to trusting the process and having almost an open expectation, just to knowing that in my heart, if I trusted the process and if I was committed to it, that my expectations would end up being much greater than what I could ever, want them to be. So kind of weird, because I wasn't expecting anything specific other than a different feeling when I was done.
All right. Did you accomplish it?
Yeah, that's for sure. I sure did.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it in a second. So the irony of it all is that many traders really assume that, the time is on their side, right? And think that if you trade long enough, then the success will eventually follow. What many do not realize is that if you want to change results, you really have to change something in your approach and something how you do things, right? And once you make the decision to change, seeing the results doesn't really take long. It can happen really very fast. So for you, after you made that decision and we did started working together, when was that point? When did you notice the first changes taking place? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I would feel different after every one-on-one session. I would have a different inspiration to take with me, not necessarily through trading, but it kind of stuck with me throughout the whole day for everything that I had going on. So, I would say
I hear that often, that my student says, I always have your voice in my head.
Yeah, for sure. And that's, right off the bat, there would be some sayings where I would be on the charts literally, and I'm like, oh, what did she just say? And like, holy crap, yeah, this is exactly what I thought was so amazing, right away. So every single step, I took something away that, helped compound this thing over the course of time to be pretty amazing.
And was there any specific, like the major breakthrough that you went through, like from one to another day, and it's like, oh, now everything's fine? Or was it like more gradual process, or is there anything specific that you remember that happened?
Well, I remember now, I still get very high and low. So when I get excited about something, oh my God, I still get pretty fired up, and it's the greatest thing in the whole world. So what would happen a lot of times is I would take that high adrenaline and committed inspired action to do well in the charts, and then I would see like my results not necessarily be positive, and had a lot of bouncing around still. And so then I would almost slide backwards a little bit, and then we would talk again, and then boom, it was almost like the charts where I'd have a pullback, and then it would go up again, and then I talk to you, and then the price would go up again. But I was able to gather all of that, and eventually I would say probably around week 10 was when I started seeing results. And right before that, I'm like, what in the hell is going on? Like, it was really, really bad for like a couple of weeks. So I got to see, a lot of different things throughout the time together, and looking back on it, there really wasn't one super aha moment. But just trusting the process and being committed to it brought a whole lot of things together that, would yield that, at least.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember that moment when you were so amazed about how neutral you are about your results.
Yeah.
You were just like, oh my God. It was almost like you got the high from being neutral,
And what was funny, what happened is that, all right, I finished trading for that day, and I had a general inkling that I wasn't up. I had a feeling that I was down, but I really didn't quite 100% know exactly what it was. So that's what I'm doing. I'm done. I'm adding up, and I found out like I was like less than a point down, and I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. So like, I was so excited for losing for the first time ever, because it was within where I needed it to be, or what my, my set objective was. And that's what happened. And I really got excited about the fact of naturally feeling good about what that result was. And that result had a minus next to it. So for the first time ever, could see what that's all about. It's not about wins, and it's not about losses at all.
The Confident Trader program guides you through this major mindset transformation in a very short time, because it's just 90 days really to get rid of some patterns that you have been accumulating for the whole life, right? And that requires commitment and also a lot of effort on your part. Was it worth it?
Oh, yeah. I would also add a lot of trust as well, because unlike any other program that I went into for a specific thing, whatever it is, we don't really talk too much technical analysis and things like that. It's all about developing a confident way of being. and that spills over to a lot of different things, of course, but that's the best way to sum it up.
So if you would like to describe the transformation, like how did that program impacted your trading and your life in general?
Okay, so to try to not make it too long and drawn out, the transformation went from being extremely high anxiety, high stressed out based on results. And even when the results were positive, there was still anxiety about it because of the lack of confidence. You know, like I could get the results, you know, and almost on accident, I could keep some profits, but almost on purpose, I would, boom, you know, that would always boom. And I would take that anxiety and I would take that stress and it would identify me in that moment. And that showed up at my kitchen table at dinner, you know, like I'm all, you know, bummed out. Dad, what's the matter? Oh, I lost in the charts today. And, you know, does that really super matter at the end of the day? You know, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
And that's what I was able to learn before I got confident, before I got profitable, before I got anything. I had to become very aware of the moment I was in and be cool with it. I mean, be literally cool with it. And that's not just dealing with a bad morning on the charts. That could be a day ahead of me full of work or, you know, a million other things that are going on. But being able to, what I really was able to get to through a lot of our work was just finding the root cause of why I want to be a trader from way back when. And what I was able to really add on top of it is that I know for me, I don't want to do anything that creates anxiety or stress. I don't want to add disease to my already 9-to-5 type of life. You know what I mean? So why would I be doing something on the side that's creating me stress? I would do it for fun. And that's what the transformation turned into was, and trading becoming an enjoyable experience, something that really is a lot of fun to do. It took all of the pressure off of my original goal, which was to make 20 grand a month trading. You know, I'm like, oh, if I don't make 20 grand a month, I'm a failure. It took all of the pressure off of that 100%. And it created a confidence of, I know that whether at the end of my session, I'm up or down, I'm not going to allow myself to engage in anything that isn't fun, that isn't enjoyable. And as a result, I've traded and not had any stress like I used to have. I've had good days, I've had bad days. They are what they are. And I can see it now from a much different point of view than I went into it where I was before.
And if you look at your result, do they also reflect that you are on the right track?
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, it's still very streaky, but it's now not streaky where you have, I would go 3 or 4 days of losses and then a day and a half of being good. It can be 4 or 5 or 6 sessions in a row where it is a positive day, a positive day, a positive day, maybe 2 or 3 days of non-positive days. And there's something within that too that's been an improvement, but regardless, but then it's still just a matter of being able to see the entire, just the entire picture over a broader spectrum, as opposed to the second I click send or go, you know what I mean, on the trigger there. So helped bring everything more at a slower pace too, while I'm working on the charts.
Yeah. And does this like how is your confidence level? So when you have those days that are, you know, losing days, because everyone has those, right? As a trader, it belongs to the business. How is your confidence? Are you still scared? Oh my God, now I'm going to take out all these days that were good?
Yeah. So that's what I was just about to say. So like on a day that's losing, there's something within that. So what I would speak into with that is, you know, I was a very amateurish type of a trader where when my price went beyond the wrong way where I thought it would go, I'd be like, oh, I'll just hang on to it for a little longer and just I hope it comes back, and holy shoot, it's not coming back. You know what I mean? And then when I would finish that out, I'd be like, oh, what an amateur is what I would always say to myself, right? So what I would say, one of the things that I've been able to correct for myself was I don't feel like I'm an amateur anymore, because I don't need to let the price run the wrong way. I don't need this trade to turn around miraculously and come back and all of a sudden save all my money woes. You know what I mean? I don't. So I'm absolutely okay hitting the trigger on a loss, and it doesn't change my attitude at all. like before, sometimes I had to get up and walk around the house 10 times and catch my breath. Now it's just like part of the process. It is what it is. And I can have the confidence to still enjoy the process. And is making me a better trader.
Fantastic.
Every single day is better than the last. You
That's
know what I mean?
awesome.
So yeah.
And that fact of not being amateur, I even put like a title for this interview.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because that when you said it last time, and I remember how big thing it was. And a lot of us, we give ourselves certain names and beat ourselves up, and that these are usually those issues that are really deep rooted. And for you, it was every time you took a loss, you felt like an amateur. And trading for a living is a business, so there is no room for that, right? So there's all this weird dynamics created, or we are creating it in our head. And once you remove those, there is just no obstacle to take a loss when you need to, instead of letting it run, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love how how you all shine and smile when you talk about it.
Yeah. It's the breakthrough. It's a true breakthrough. So it's
definitely
awesome. Yeah.
And as last, would you like to share any specific insights that were key to your progress, like some key takeaways that could help other traders out there?
For sure, to trust the process, and to really not interrupt anything. You know what I mean? Just to take one little thing out of every step of the way. And I would say to have the expectation of finishing the process and then start, really getting into the nitty gritty of how you've changed but it'll just happen. That's why you have to go through the entire process and really trust it and be committed to yourself, really, and let it happen and do a good job for yourself. And you'll just feel different all of a sudden. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. That's how it was for me, at least. So if I didn't commit to myself to finish this process, then I never would be where I'm at now. And I feel much different as a trader now. So, that's the best takeaway that I can give anybody. Absolutely. And share my experience would be so summed valuable. Up just like that.
Because what you're saying, actually, that is just so simple, getting out of your own way, right?
Yeah.
Because if something is sabotaging our progress, a lot of times, and most of the time, especially in trading, it's us, because it is only us in there. There is no one else. It's us and that computer. And if something is not working, then it must be you who is sabotaging the process, right? So if you can make the decision and make the steps and follow the process to get out of your own way, then it happens just suddenly. All of a sudden, there is nothing in your way, right?
Yeah.
That's so valuable. Really awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all these insights and your journey today. From my side, it has been really an honor and pleasure coaching you through this transformation and seeing you making steps forward every week. And I know that sometimes it felt like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but you still were moving forward. And I knew where you're going to, and that you will finish the process, and your commitment and your efforts, that's what it took, and that's what you gave, and you committed to the process, and that's where why you got results. So thank you very much for that. And you can also thank yourself and be proud of yourself. And I'm looking forward to work another 3 months with
I know.
you. Because for those of you who are not familiar with the Confident Trader program, after you finish the initial 90 days transformation process, then you enter 3 months of accountability track with the continuous support of your mindset coach, and that is me. So that's what I will be working on with Ed, making sure that all the transformation that will settle and will be good established, so you can continue trading for a living without me. And if you guys would like to learn more about the Confident Trader program, go to freedomfromfailing.live and schedule your free strategy call. So you can find out more about the program and see if this is a good fit for you. And again, thank you so much, Ed. I don't know if you want to share anything else or add something.
Well, I appreciate being here. I had a lot of fun. It was good for me, a good exercise for me to talk about the entire process. So I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It's been awesome. It's been awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ed. Thank you everyone for joining today and have a great day. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.